My name is Eliana. I married Santiago, who had a child from his previous marriage, when his child was 10 years old. I was a first-time bride, so I had no idea how to raise a child, and I was desperate to do it right. I wanted to have my own child, but I thought that if I did, I would compare my stepchild and my own child. So I decided not to have a child. And I devoted myself to my husband and his child, Kai. But then, suddenly, my husband passed away. As I grieved, Kai said to me with a smile,
"Dad loved his mistress, and he said you were just a housekeeper. And I'm getting all his property, so don't ever bother me again."
What are you talking about? Your dad didn't have a mistress, did he?
You're the stupid one. Dad was very good at hiding his affair, but he had a woman he was dating. That's nonsense. I didn't bother to argue with him. Well, it's your choice not to believe, but it's a fact that Dad had a mistress.
Kai laughed triumphantly. His face looked more like his mother, whom my husband had divorced, than his father. He always looked down on people with contemptuous eyes and spoke in a condescending tone. Of course, I didn't know his mother personally. I had only seen her in a photo. But since he didn't look like his father, I thought he must have taken after his mother. That's why I tried to educate him well, so that he would grow up properly. I taught him what was right and wrong, and scolded him harshly when he did something bad. I made him sit and study when he neglected his homework. I was nagging him all the time to make sure he wouldn't embarrass himself in public. That was the truth. But he never listened to anything I said.
Dad is gone to heaven, and our relationship is over too.
So,
I hated you so much, so I feel relieved from the bottom of my heart that I can become a stranger to you.
did you hate me that much?
Yes, I did. You always denied everything I did.
Even though you did things that deserved to be denied.
You were noisy when I came home late, too.
Of course I was. You were still in junior high school then.
My friends were playing until midnight.
They were bad friends, weren't they? You shouldn't have hung out with them.
It's my business who I play with.
You might think so now that you're in college, but you were still a child then. As a parent, I couldn't let you do that.
What parent? I never thought of you as a parent. You're nothing but a housekeeper.
A housekeeper?
That's right. A housekeeper.
Kai smiled smugly, and occasionally laughed exaggeratedly. That's when it happened. A woman stood in the spacious living room, having entered unnoticed, and agreed with Kai's words.
That's right, Kai. You know very well. Your dad said this person was a housekeeper.
Who are you? A familiar face.
This is Delilah. Dad's mistress.
Dad's mistress? Somewhere in my head, I screamed, no. There was no way my husband had a mistress.
That's right. I was his dad's mistress. Santiago's mistress. He loved me more than you.
You're lying, right?
I understand you don't want to believe it, but it's true. No matter what you say, it's a fact that he loved me more. Give up.
Dead men tell no tales.
Ha! Don't joke with me. He really said that. And he told me not to give you a cent of his inheritance.
Inheritance?
That's right, you housekeeper. You have no right to inherit anything.
What's the inheritance?
Dad had billions of money. I don't know if you knew that or not. I'm taking all that money. It's convenient to be an only child at times like this. I don't have to share the money my parents left behind.
That's why you just have to sign this.
What is this?
It's a document that says you renounce your inheritance. If you write on this, you'll never be able to get any inheritance again.
That's how it is.
You might want some of it, but a woman who wasn't loved can't inherit anything. Too bad.
That's right. Just as Delilah says.
Come on, sign it. This will make all the inheritance yours, Kai.
Kai, are you sure about this?
Of course I am. I'm going to be rich. And at the same time, I'm saying goodbye to you. They laughed, Delilah, who claimed to be my husband's lover, and Kai. I've seen that face before, but was she really his mistress? I can't imagine my husband having such a person as his lover, and she's not his type of woman either. Who is she then? I can't remember even though she looks familiar. Hey, hurry up and write. You have no choice but to give up your inheritance, whether you like it or not. That's when an answer came to me. But I didn't say it out loud. It wouldn't make any difference if I did. That's what I thought.
I picked up the pen and said, I understand. Be strong no matter what happens. And I left the house. After that, I stayed at a business hotel and looked around for an apartment to rent. That's when it happened. I got a call from Kai, who told me to never contact him again. I wondered what it was and answered the phone, and Kai was excited and snorted at me.
The inheritance procedure is over.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm a millionaire now.
Good for you.
You must be so regretful.
Not really. By the way, who said you're a millionaire?
Delilah, the mistress. I'm going to live with her as my mother from now on.
Delilah said that?
Yeah, she says I'm her son as much as my dad's. Well, since she's the one my dad loved, it's not wrong to call her my mother. And she says she wants to live with me in that house. It'll be fun to live together, I'm sure.
That's nice.
You were only strict and never cared about my feelings, but she always puts me first. She says I should do whatever I want.
Listen, I've been correcting your mistakes all this time. You wouldn't know if I didn't teach you what you shouldn't do. That's why I was harsh.
I don't want to hear that excuse. You just didn't like me because I was a stepchild. Did you think I wouldn't notice that? You always treated me like a child.
That's because you were a child.
You don't know how unhappy I was with you.
That's only because you didn't get your way. Doesn't that mean I disciplined you properly? Spoiling you isn't discipline. That's right, I, who never became a mother, tried to raise Kai well so that he wouldn't have trouble when he grew up. That's why I often clashed with him. I thought he would go in the wrong direction if I let him do whatever he wanted. Not only that, but I also nagged him about manners at mealtime. That's why he was never criticized for his eating habits when he ate out, but only praised. But because of that, Kai often called me a shitty old woman and locked himself in his room. But I hardened my heart for his sake. But now that he's a college student, I don't interfere with anything unless it's very serious. So I shouldn't have said anything since he entered college. But in Kai's mind, I was still a shitty old woman as a mother. And the woman he chose was Delilah, who claimed to be my husband's lover. Why does Delilah say that your father was a millionaire?
He said his inheritance was over $1 billion before he died. I guess she knows that because she's his mistress.
I see.
And he said it would be nice if I inherited everything and Delilah lived in this house when he died. He wanted us to live happily together, thinking of us.
Really?
Too bad for you.
What do you mean?
It means he didn't care about you at all, even though he had $1 billion. He left everything to me.
Oh, that. I don't care, really.
Don't act tough. He left a will saying he wouldn't give you a cent. So this house is all mine, and so are the lands he apparently had.
I gave up my inheritance, so I don't care what you tell me now. Besides, he told me not to inherit anything when he was dead.
What? Why?
I don't know. Maybe he wanted you to inherit everything? I don't know his true intentions.
Yeah, that's right. He wanted to leave everything to his real son, so he told you not to inherit anything. Delilah was right after all.
She said that too?
Yeah, she said it would be pitiful if his remarried wife took his inheritance. And she said all the money he left behind should go to his child. I agree with her.
Well, I don't mind that.
I'll forget all the nagging you did to me, since you gave up your inheritance willingly.
Thank you very much.
I don't think I'll ever contact you again. No matter how poor you become, don't contact me. You and I are strangers.
Okay. You should do your best, Kai. Thus, Kai contacted me to report that the inheritance had been completed, seeking a sense of superiority, thinking that I would be feeling bitter. Of course, I had no regrets or grudges. I thought that I would never contact him again. That's what I thought. However, I didn't contact him, but Kai contacted me later.
Mom, what should I do?
Oh. We're not mother and son anymore. It's awkward to be called mom now.
Don't say such mean things.
What happened?
Our house has been seized.
Oh, I see.
What? You don't look serious.
I think it's only natural.
What do you mean?
I don't know what Delilah said to make her think she's a millionaire, but your father had more debts than money.
That's a lie.
It's not a lie, so the house was seized, right?
I don't understand. If that's true, why did Dad leave me an inheritance?
The debt is also part of the inheritance. You should have heard the lawyer's explanation when you went through the inheritance procedure.
But
you didn't listen, did you?
But Delilah said I was a millionaire. She said Dad had money, so there was nothing to worry about from now on. So I thought I didn't need to listen to the lawyer's explanation.
Oh dear, you take people's words too seriously. That's why I told you to research before believing what others say. I taught you that much, but you fell into a big hole.
That's not true.
You thought of what I said as nothing more than bullying your stepchild, so you only thought of me as a nuisance. That's too bad.
But Delilah is his mistress, so if she says it, it must be true.
It wasn't true, though.
Yes. Oh, this is why he told you not to inherit the inheritance, did he?
That's right.
Then why didn't you tell me?
I was afraid you wouldn't listen even if I spoke harshly, and you were always playing around. I thought you would eventually suffer.
It's too painful.
That's true. But they say that the hardships of youth are worth buying, so it's just right.
It's not good.
And Delilah is there, isn't she? You'll work together with Delilah. She's an adult, so she'll definitely help you.
That's true, but...
Does Delilah know about this?
No, she's working now.
Oh, I see. She's working.
Apparently.
Because she's his mistress, I thought she would quit her job if she inherited the inheritance.
Do you know about Delilah?
I don't know that much about her. but I do have doubts about whether she's really his mistress. I think the time will come when everything will be revealed.
What?
Anyway, the hardships of youth are valuable, so do your best.
I won't struggle. The house was just seized, and there should still be plenty of assets left. It's probably just the house. If that's the case, we can just buy a new one with the other inheritance our father left us.
I hope you can do that. Is that all?
Oh. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to hang up now. I'm busy too. With that, I hung up without another word. That night, after work, Delilah contacted me.
Hey, you.
Oh, what's going on all of a sudden? And who am I speaking with?
It's Delilah. Delilah, the one Santiago loved.
Oh, I see. You seem pretty anxious about something.
Well, I can't help but be anxious. Why was the house seized?
I don't live there, so I wouldn't know. Why are you both asking me?
Well, he should have an inheritance worth over $1 million, right? So why is this happening? Did you take the inheritance?
I gave up my inheritance. How could I take it?
I don't know. Did you do something?
That's impossible. I'm not a wizard.
Maybe you took the good parts of the inheritance first, and only left the scraps for us.
That's quite a thought. But since there's a lawyer involved, they shouldn't be able to do that, right?
That's true, but...
That means you're the kind of person who would do that, isn't it?
I wouldn't do that. How rude of you to say that.
I don't know what you heard from my husband, but he originally had nothing but negative inheritance. And the amount was said to be over $1 million.
What? But he was a millionaire before, wasn't he?
That was before you broke up, right?
Huh?
After you broke up, my husband's business failed. After that, nothing went well, and the amount of debt kept increasing. That's why my husband told me to abandon the inheritance before he died.
You know about me?
I know. You're not his mistress, are you? You're Kai's real mother, aren't you?
Why do you know that?
When I first heard that you were his mistress, I thought it was strange. I've seen pictures of his ex-wife, and she was a very plain person. But you're very flashy. I didn't think you were the type to be a mistress. But as we talked, I realized that you look like Kai. You're like a mother and son. You reminded me of the plain you that I remembered, and I thought you might be the same person. But you've changed a lot.
A lot has happened.
Well, that's okay, but if you're his real mother, why didn't you say so? Kai would have been happy if you had.
There are many reasons.
Again, many reasons. But my husband said before he died that his ex-wife would come after he died.
Is that true?
Yes, it was exactly like that. But the way you appeared was too unexpected. My husband said that you would say things that would make Kai like you. It was exactly like my husband's ex-wife. But we were told to keep this a secret.
If I had known that Kai knew I was his mother, why didn't I say so? Even if he was told to keep quiet about everything, he didn't have to listen to everything, did he?
I thought there was no need to say it. If he said that before he died, there must have been something to it. But I still don't understand why you would deceive Kai, no matter how much you say.
I'm his mother too. I didn't want to deceive him. But if I say I'm his mother now, what will happen? He'll probably hate me. I'm the woman who abandoned him. If he hates me, I'll miss out on the inheritance.
Oh, it was a good story until halfway, but the real intention is the inheritance?
Of course. I thought there was money in the billions. If I could get into that child and play a kind woman, I think I could usurp that child's inheritance. It was the inheritance that I, as a wife, should have received.
I see. You thought it would be advantageous to say you were a mistress in order to usurp the inheritance.
Yes. It was a hit, wasn't it?
Normally, if there is a mistress, there will be a backlash.
Thanks to you.
Me?
Because you were strict, that child doesn't understand what kindness is. He thought superficial kindness was the real thing. So even if I am a mistress, if I am kind, I become a good person. You really did a good job of disciplining. I'll thank you for that.
I see, he's a stupid son. Is it because you instilled in him that I am a housekeeper?
That's right. I instilled in him that he didn't think highly of you. It was easy. If he was strict with himself and thought that his father didn't think highly of him either, his feelings for his father would increase, but his feelings for you would decrease. That's exactly what happened. That child believed everything I said.
So trying to raise him to be a good child backfired. I've read various educational books, but a book is just a book.
Of course. Humans change depending on their personality, so it's no good to do exactly what is written in the book.
I see. It's too late, but it's a learning experience.
Humans are creatures that go with superficial kindness. Especially children.
I tried to talk so that I could understand properly, but it was no good.
After all, it's a parent and child who don't get along. I won.
This is not about winning or losing. So what are you going to do now? You found out that your husband's inheritance is a negative inheritance.
That's decided.
Delilah hung up the phone without saying anything more. I felt frustrated, but I decided to forget about it because it's not something I should say. After that, peaceful days continued for about a week. I thought Delilah was supporting Kai. No matter what, they are real parents and children, so they should not leave their troubled son alone. That was my opinion. However, after a week, Kai came to my apartment. Oh. You found this place well.
Yes. I researched.
I thought he was a stupid child, but it seems he can think a little. So what's up?
Delilah is not here.
What do you mean she's not here?
I haven't seen her for a week.
You haven't seen her? Maybe she's on a trip?
Hasn't she come here?
She wouldn't come here. It's unsettling for you when she's not around.
Yes, because she said we were going to live together from now on. Anyone would be anxious if she suddenly disappeared.
I wonder if that's the only reason. Maybe he's longing for her because of their blood connection. Isn't there a letter or a note from her?
There's nothing. It would be better if there was.
I see. She is Kai's real mother.
Huh? What are you talking about all of a sudden?
That's how it is.
Don't say stupid things.
I talked to her on the phone the other day, and she clearly said so.
So she left me again knowing she's my real mother?
Well, I don't know if she left you.
She left me last time too. I bet it's the same this time. What am I supposed to do from now on? I'm getting something like a debt collection notice.
You have to pay that.
If that woman is my mother, doesn't she have an obligation to pay too?
She doesn't.
Why not? She's my dad's ex-wife. If she was a mistress, it means they loved each other even after they broke up.
That's different. She wasn't your father's mistress.
What do you mean?
She wasn't a mistress. She just said she was a mistress because she wanted to usurp the inheritance.
What do you mean?
It's difficult, isn't it?
Then she should have said she was my mother.
It seems she thought she might not be able to usurp the property if she resented.
That's ridiculous, or maybe not.
Anyway, since you inherited the inheritance, you have to pay, Kai.
I knew it. You're a mother too, so help me out.
I'm a stranger, aren't I? Besides, I've renounced my inheritance. That means I haven't inherited any negative legacy. The one who inherited it is Kai. And it was Kai who told me never to get involved again. So I have no intention of getting involved.
So she knew everything and left me behind, huh?
I don't know, but maybe.
That's what it is. It must be.
You're a lot like that person, Kai.
What do you mean?
You only think about yourself. That's why this happens. I've been teaching you properly. If you don't have a heart to care for others, you'll suffer when you're in trouble.
Ah.
Kai looked at me and said.
So that's what it was.
His shoulders slumped. All the inheritance left by my husband was seized and put up for auction. It was a considerable amount of money, but still, the debt fell on Kai. In the end, Kai, who had no place to live and no money, quit college and started working. However, Kai, who didn't care about causing trouble to others, managed to get by with part-time jobs, but he couldn't pay back his debts at all. In the end, he chose the path of bankruptcy, laughing and saying it was his last resort. As a result, he plunged into the worst life, but he resented his deceased father for having to suffer so much, and quit working. Even though he would be in trouble if he didn't work, I thought he was a stupid son who didn't think about that at all. Furthermore, what my son thought was to find a woman and let her feed him. But to do that, he needs a certain amount of spirit. Kai only thought about himself, ignored the other person, and insisted on his rights. As a result, he was dumped by his girlfriend. Then he couldn't pay the rent for the apartment, and ended up homeless. On the other hand, my husband had been depositing about $1,000 a month into my account before he died, so I didn't have any trouble living. Thanks to that, I can live in a small apartment, get to work quickly, and lead a peaceful life. I am grateful for my husband's deep love, even now. How did you like this story? Please also subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.